Lynn Pillay.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I, along with my colleagues, really happy to take a call on this bill, and I want to acknowledge and confirm the points that Chester Burrows made about the very hard-working Justice and Electoral Select Committee, and indeed this bill was no exception. That certainly there was a lot of work done and a lot of scrutiny, and I think much of it really around the status of the new Commission. The issue of actually having a Commission in one entity has actually been, I think, for probably having sat on Justice and Electoral, has always been something that's been seen as the best way forward, and indeed there have been many people who have lobbied about what a good idea it would be, and I think it is something that has always been the intention. So on this occasion, I will actually commend the government. I think that it is very sensible, but at the same time I want to acknowledge the agencies who have worked so hard and have done so much work around our elections that whilst I certainly didn't like the result of the last one, and indeed most New Zealanders don't now, but that I do want to acknowledge the work that was done by those agencies, the Chief Electoral Officer, and indeed we did have assistance from David Henry during our consideration, the Electoral Commission, and also the Office of the Chief Registrar of Electors through the Chief Enrolment, the Electoral Enrolment Centre. So it's a really good chance at this time, Mr Speaker, to acknowledge all the work that they do, because living in a democracy, and this is something, apart from some of the things that certainly causes some concern, and that's participation not by the agencies themselves, but the way third parties tend to get involved in election campaigns that are perhaps not something that we in New Zealand feel proud of, and certainly the other side of the House should feel really ashamed of it. But we're not here to talk about that negative stuff today, Mr Speaker. We're here to talk about the good work that those agencies have done throughout numerous elections, and I don't think anyone of this House, save a few glitzes or a few things that happen from time to time, but no one would question the commitment of those agencies, and indeed that going forward to having one electoral agency that will be in place for the next election in 2011, that agency in place, we will then have one commission, and the duplication, the confusion which can arise when you have three agencies will certainly not be such a challenge. So I think that certainly we on this side of the House are looking forward to the next election, very much so. Very much so. We're really looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to it being run in such a way. Oh, a little bit of passion. Bring it on. Looking forward to that election being run in such a way that we celebrate the democracy that we have in New Zealand. Goodness, I think I've woken the opposition up. As others have said before me, Mr Speaker, most of the bill is a technical bill, and indeed most of the discussions were very technical, and I want to acknowledge the really, really excellent submissions that the committee received. We from individuals, but also from the previous executive of the Electoral Commission, the former clerk of the House of Representatives, David McGee, played a really key role in giving us really, really constructive advice, and of course Professor Andrew Geddes, who's renowned for his knowledge and has indeed always played a very constructive role in terms of other submissions that the Justice and Electoral Select Committee receive when they are considering electoral law. Also, of course, the New Zealand Law Society and other individuals who put a lot of time into effort into commenting and offering constructive advice on the bill. And of course, one of the key issues, and indeed many submitters submitted on this, and it was really all about ensuring protection, that there was no politics, if I can use that term, in terms of the office. And that's why many of the submitters submitted that the new Commission should be an officer of Parliament, an office of Parliament. And that was something, I think that would be fair to say that is something that the committee gave the most consideration to. And as I said before, we had very good advice from Dave McGee and also David Henry, the Davids as it were, on this. And on balance, because if we looked at it, one of the concerns was that the Officer of Parliament was more of a scrutinising role, or scrutinising of the executive, whereas the Electoral Commission's main responsibility is actually more of a doing role. It's about delivering impartial and transparent elections in accordance with the law, in order to, of course, maintain public confidence in our electoral processes. And so in that, and all of the committee gave really careful consideration, and that we realised that whilst the request was for an officer of Parliament, whilst the advice that we were given that it wasn't appropriate in this instance, it was actually really important to have that, not have that conflict, and that's why there was some additional protection recommended by the committee in terms of a change, in that the appointment of the commissioners would not be by the minister, in case that minister could be conflicted. There could be some, or whether there was or wasn't, but perhaps a perception that there was political interference, and there was certainly a meeting completely of the minds that we didn't, whether that was even happening or not, that we on the committee would not want that perception to be there. And so that the compromise, or the best way of ensuring that, was seen that the appointment would not be by the Minister but by Parliament itself. And as Chester Burrows has said, that it wouldn't be about consultation, that it would be a decision that Parliament as a whole would make. And that Mr. Speaker, the members of the Select Committee felt went a long way to really putting at rest any concerns that submitters had in terms of that issue. There was also another protection in terms of the membership of the Electoral Commission. As it was introduced, it provided that the three members, as I said before, were appointed by the Governor-General on the recommendation of the Minister of Justice. That's what I said, as I said before. That would now be by Parliament. And also around the board structure, about the adoption, illustrated the board structure for the new Commission was really about the existing Commission before the 2008 general election. Before the election, the existing Electoral Commission required its board to meet and consider its response to complaints. And we think that is really important. We are looking this time, Mr. Speaker, for the Commission is going to be a completely new entity. And it's really important that this legislation is enacted now to enable all of those, all the checks, the balances, all the processes that have to go into place to get the Commission selected by Parliament, up and running and effective in order for the next election. So in closing, Mr Speaker, I would congratulate the government. I think there has been consultation on this, but there will be more electoral bills coming before this House, and I would very, very respectfully urge the government to consider that transparency around donations, that those many issues, that and other issues are very important. Mr Speaker, I commend this bill to the House. Thank you.